Now coming up in this afternoon's bulletin, UTAG strike action. Notu Kote calls on both caucuses in Parliament to desist from making comments that threaten progress of consensus building. Details of that will follow shortly. Now also coming up, Employment Minister reiterates government's commitment to addressing pertinent issues affecting the association. We have details of this stories and then more. Good afternoon. This is Pan-African Television News Live from our studios here 48 Swanika Street at Olympia, Accra, Ghana. My name is Ivy Abnadide Nakite. We are live across 46 African countries and some parts of the live on Facebook at Pan-African Television. Do stay for the details of our stories. Thank you for choosing to stay with us. This is Pan-African Television News Live from our studios here, 48 Swanika Street, Olympia, Accra, Ghana. My name is Ivy Abnadide Nakite. The news in detail. The ranking member on the Education Committee of Parliament, Peter Notikoto, says the committee is close to a breakthrough with the University Teachers Association of Ghana after a round of extensive consultations with the latter. Now, he therefore called on both caucuses of the House to desist from making comment on the strike action that may pull the brake on the consensus building.
Mr. Speaker, I would like to appeal that the Committee on Education has just come out with a meeting with UTAG, the Minister for Employment and Labour Relations, as well as the Minister for Education. And we have reached some level of a consensus. So I will wish that we tone down the debate or the discussion on this statement, so that we don't aggravate the situation as we saw it this morning, and we have come to a consensus on this matter. I think in my earlier submission, I said that we had just come out of a meeting and the negotiations had not been completed. I wasn't expecting the Honourable Minister to start telling us what they have done so far. So I will wish that the Minister ended it there, so that this does not generate into an agreement. Because if negotiations have not been completed, and you as the leader of a government delegation, you start giving out figures, I think those who are agitating for better conditions of service may not be happy with this. So I will wish that the Minister just inform us or give us the assurance that he's leading the government delegation and that they were looking into things rather than beginning to give us figures and whatnot, and the other party is not here to also argue for themselves.
Now, meanwhile, Minister for Employment and Labour Relations Ignatius Bafo Ewa has given an indication on government's commitment towards ensuring that the pertinent issues affecting members of the University Teachers Association of Ghana is solved while consultations continue. According to him, government began consultations with the association since 2017, a move that has seen a significant increment in their teaching allowances.
Mr. Speaker, as the lead negotiator on behalf of government, I have been very reluctant in making public pronouncements whenever we are negotiating issues within the public space. Because whatever you say on air, eventually you will come and sit down with the parties and talk. If you have made your point already known on air, what do you come back to sit and deliberate on again? But Mr. Speaker, this is a house of records. So if the Hansard captures certain concerns which are not corrected, perhaps it will be taken to be fact. And for that reason, I will want to respond to some of the issues raised by my honorable colleague. Throughout the statement, my honorable colleague inquired from the government side efforts that have been made and results coming out of that record. Mr. Speaker, to set the record straight, engagement with UTAG started way back in 2017 when UTAG made a representation to government that they wanted the book and research allowance that is given to university teachers be reviewed. As of that time, Mr. Speaker, university lecturers were taking 500 Ghana cedis as research allowance per annum. After negotiations, this figure was increased from 500 Ghana cedis to 1,500 Ghana cedis, and subsequently has been increased from 1,500 Ghana cedis to the equivalent of 1,600 USD, or in today's exchange rate terms, 10,000 Ghana cedis. Government has acted in good faith and is ever willing to continue negotiations with UTAG. We want due process to be followed, and I have given them an assurance that if today they call off the strike, I wouldn't mind asking that we lock ourselves in the room and make sure that we finish negotiations before we come out. So government is ever willing to sit down with UTAG, and we have always demonstrated that willingness to negotiate with them. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to assure this House and to assure the country that government is ever ready to jaw with UTAG to bring life back to the universities. I will await the report of your committee on education to be laid in this House, and when it is being debated, perhaps as advised by you, that will be the time I will lay the facts on the part of the government negotiation team.
Away from that, Divisional Chief of Pipura and member of the Upper East Regional House of Chiefs, Nana Dazu II, is calling for a second chamber of parliament that will consist of chiefs to help address the imbalance in parliament. According to him, this will help restore the power of our traditional leaders as custodians of our lands.
Pan-African TV is watched worldwide. And we believe that, yes, with this one, you are trying to actually, reignite us to know that, oh, our past is not missing. So I believe that, yes, if I'm here, when you come and you cover, you get to know that, yes, Pan-Africa is one of the TV stations that the B-Mobile people would want to partner with. And I also believe that, yes, because of the philosophies of somebody like Sankara, somebody like Dr. Nkrumah, somebody like Sekuturi, and all of them who wanted Africa to come together. So that we'll create independence for ourselves. The same way, when you get in, maybe the chieftaincy institution, who knows? You can also help us to create independence. Why not? We can create independence for ourselves. Must it always be that parliament should sit down there and be bullying each other? No. It cannot be. But what can you do? Can we start agitating? Can we start also bringing our own, suggestions? Oh, why not a second chamber of parliament? That will be made of chiefs. Why not? So that there will be balance in the partisan thing that has been happening. So that would actually cause the MPs not to box each other. Because when you know you have a father who is supervising you, it will be very difficult for you to go and take the law in your own hands in the house.
Nah.
So why not? You can advocate for us. You can propose for us. We can use your medium. Why not? So that we'll make sure that, you know, the philosophies of Sankara and Nkrumah and all of those people who wanted Africa to be independent, to be truly independent.
Nah.
We cannot be independent when the chief, who you said is a landowner, is not independent.
Exactly.
Because we are not empowered.
Exactly.
I cannot go to parliament and suggest to them that don't fight. I can't.
Nah.
But any time that maybe there's a second chamber made up of chiefs, what will happen then is that when there's an impasse there, they will pass it on to us.
Naba Nazu II is the chief of Kwikpira. He has been speaking with my colleague George Yosen Vinay. Now, away from that, Kenke sellers at Villa Paz Market have bemoaned the hiking price of maize. According to them, the mess has affected the success and sustainability of their businesses.
It's a widely consumed and cultivated staple crop in Ghana. It's also the main ingredient for kenke, a popular staple dish prepared with kondo and usually served with pepper and fried fish. The price of the commodity has soared with huge implications on buying and selling. An exceedingly worrying situation some traders at the La Paz market have decried. Pan-African News caught up with some who described the development as deeply disturbing and a cause for alarm. They also complained bitterly that it has seriously affected their business.
1.8.
The prices of maize used to be 180 cedis to 280 cedis, but now we buy it for 500 cedis, though it was about 280 cedis 8 months ago. The leaves for the kenke were 250, but now we buy it at 300 cedis on the market, and you have to subtract all from the maize. The fawu too is 10 cedis. The fish was sold at 180 cedis, but now it is sold at 250 Ghana cedis. The one sold at 290 cedis is now 400 cedis. So because of that, a fish sold at 2 cedis is now 4 cedis. The oil was 150 cedis and 160 cedis, but now it is sold at 300 cedis. A kenke is now sold for 1 cedi 50 pesos, 2 cedis and 3 cedis. My kenke is very nice and huge, so my customers don't complain. I buy my maize at Agbogboloshi, but when I go myself, I get it for 360 cedis. But when I buy it from here, I get it for 500 Ghana cedis.
Sabo like the saying, "Fair kwa mikano ni fair, akasefa." No, no chimo no to. Fio no rana no ye ka work esano. No me way.
I affect your business.
The prices of maize have really affected our business because of the increment. Someone might be hungry and would want to buy some, but because of the prices, they can't afford to buy, which has made the market very slow for us. The maize has become very expensive. It is now sold at 400 cedis and 250 cedis. When I buy it, the price comes down. That is why I sell mine at 2 cedis and 1 cedi 50 pesos. Last year was 250 cedis, but this year it has increased because of the fuel price increment, and the farmers too are complaining that things are hard, so they cannot also reduce the price of the maize.
Let's see, petrol. If you are from see Mama Boarding, you are so many man to be found fufu. No moon the top of your boarding. Sana, oh my.
The price of the maize is killing us. We buy it at 600 cedis and a ball of kenke is now 3 cedis. The price of the leaves is now 120 cedis as compared to previously when we used to buy it for 80 Ghana cedis. We don't get fish and the oil is now expensive. The prices of oil are now 270 Ghana cedis. They bring the maize from Tichiman, Wa and Winchi. We are suffering. The current government has made things so difficult.
20 kutokuko mi aelo 30 Ghana money ba for hour when 20 Ghana wa here lo ya wose
A visibly worried resident also poured out her frustration and pleaded with government to address the issue as soon as possible.
We are
really suffering. Even if we want to eat kenke, you cannot eat one. For instance, I eat 3 because 2 cedis is not enough for me. First, when I buy 1 or 2 for 3 cedis, I get satisfied. But for now, it is not like that. When you buy 2 cedis, it won't suffice unless you buy 2 for 4 cedis or even 3. Things are really difficult these days and it is very disturbing. The way things are going is really affecting us, so we are pleading with government to help the situation for us because we are dying. Now the kenke we buy for 2 Ghana cedis, if we give our children, it does not satisfy them. The way Ghana is moving has made things difficult for us because things are really bad.
3.5, now 5 million.
Reporting for Pan African Television News, Irabna Frimpong.
President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has indicated that Ghana has the ability to utilize natural resources in enhancing the welfare of citizens and the development of the entire nation. He revealed that Ghana has made more oil discoveries after the initial discovery in 2007.
Delivering his speech at the Maiden International Energy Conference and Expo in Georgetown, Guyana, Mr. Akufo-Addo told the conference, which was attended by the President of Guyana, President of Suriname, the Prime Minister of Barbados, and the CEO of ExxonMobil, amongst others, that Ghana is today touted as a model case in Africa in the management of oil and gas resources. According to the President, the discovery of oil resources in Ghana in 2007 offered a unique opportunity for the country to leverage its newfound oil and gas resources for the development of the Ghanaian economy and to finance priority domestic investments crucial for diversified growth. With some resource-endowed nations in Africa failing to achieve sustainable development from the exploitation of their natural resources, President Akufo-Addo noted that Ghana has implemented a number of policies and initiatives to change the narrative. These policies, he explained, are focused on ensuring sustainable growth of the sector through legislative development, employment creation and protection of the environment, revenue and cost management, transparency, diversification of the economy, capacity building, and local content development.
The lifeless body of a 58-year-old man has been found in a river at Wankweja near Abesim in the Sunyani municipality of the Bono region. The police is yet to conduct investigations into the cause of the death of the deceased, who was a Burkina Faso resident in the country.
Lieutenant Nicodemus Bwampon, speaking in an interview, said the late was a Burkina Faso but have been in the area for some time now farming. The co-tenant also disclosed that the deceased used to drink, but as to what transpired in his mysterious demise is yet to be known.
So far over here, Hanma, Nipano, a boy, what's in us in Pabuan in the Sapo. Na wadenam eni ene wa hano be ne sapo ne semna na hyimu no na oba hano to oba hano na obesa eyensu no kura hwe roba na timse ensu no ewum ensu wum wo hano na nipa no so na eda hano ti nipa no mo ne gusu a mo hwe no onene nipa na eda hano. Tu ensu ben wanko tu hia wanko nsu mu na wada no wankɔ nsuo no mu na ɔda no ɛsi a yɛnim adeɛ pɔtee a ɛsiiɛ sɛ obi na akuna tomu sɛ ɔno ara so na atɔ nsuo mu sɛ den o obiara nim adekodeɛ tuhwɛ nipa no ɛna da hɔ.
The body had since been conveyed by the Abesin police and deposited to the regional morgue for autopsy and preservation. Wrapping up on our local front, fear has gripped residents of Inkesim Krom in the Achuma Mponuya district of the Ashanti region following the death of a man identified as J. Henry, while the deceased, believed to be in his 40s, is alleged to have committed suicide. The extremely disturbing incident occurred on February 16, 2022, when the deceased, J. Henry, allegedly locked himself in his room after ordering his 13-year son to go and play football. The deceased placed a gun in his mouth and used his leg to press the shoot button. His son, Kweku Godfred, was on his way to play football when he heard a gunshot which caused him to panic. His worst fear was confirmed when the door was forced open and he saw the dad lying in a pool of blood. The deceased wife, Ya Abro, was on their farm yard harvesting some foodstuffs when the incident happened. He survived by 7 children. Meanwhile, the body has been deposited at the Nyinahini Hospital morgue by Nyinahini Police Command for preservation and autopsy. That's all on our local front. Coming up next is business.
The Socialist Movement of Ghana, SMG, invites all progressive and revolutionary forces to the observance of Ghana's Day of Shame on Thursday, February 24th, 2022. 56 years has passed since the Central Intelligence Agency, CIA of the USA, and its local collaborators launched a futile attack on the African Revolution. This Day of Shame will be marked with a public forum on the theme 56 years after the overthrow of Nkrumah, the state of the Ghanaian economy. The event will be chaired by Comrade Tretri Opoku, convener of the Socialist Movement of Ghana. The speakers will be Professor Jane Nana Opoku Ajiman, first female vice-chancellor of a public university in Ghana and vice presidential candidate of the NDC in the 2020 elections, and Comrade Kwesi Pratt Jr., General Secretary of the Socialist Movement of Ghana. The event starts at 5 p.m. prompt at the new headquarters of the Socialist Movement of Ghana, next door to the Noga Hill Hotel on the George Walker Bush Highway. Come and join the struggle to ensure that imperialism never succeeds. This event will be telecasted live on Pan-African television and streamed on our Facebook and YouTube pages.
Thanks for choosing to stay with us. Now we welcome to the business segment of the news. Some traders at the Kaneshi Market Complex are lamenting over low patronage, a situation they labeled as an indication of non-adherence to the COVID-19 protocols. According to them, the economic hardship in the country and the drastic decline in nose masks usage among the ordinary Ghanaians are the reasons why prices of disposable COVID-19 nose masks have generally declined. My colleague Daniel Kwabnasari toured the Kaneshi Market Complex and has come through with the following report.
When the novel coronavirus pandemic hit Ghana in March 2020, President Nana Akufo-Addo, in line with the Health Ministry, ordered for the wearing of nose masks among other safety protocols in order to curb the virus. The situation has changed over time after the COVID-19 vaccination exercise commenced. This has led to the decline in demand and wearing of the masks.
Okay, first it was very, the price was 15, but now the price has gone down to 8 cedis. So one box for 8 cedis. So please, the prices cost on changing. Now, the people who use this are the people who go to churches and the banking halls. So because of that, that's why the price has gone down. So we want the government to make the protocol to come on and make more education about how the people should wear it, because the wearing of masks has gone down dramatically.
Oh, first na box na 35 cedis, blue no, na black and also 40 cedis. But as now no, blue no 10 cedis, and black no 12 cedis. You better say more edi. If you say you be school, you better there. AM for us here. O mind the more edi. Inti omo here some titi so do be etimi to.
Her counterparts Na and Abna also shared similar concerns.
4 1 cedi, black 3 1 cedi, BBL 3 1 cedi, boss 10 cedi, and then again 12 cedis, and then 5 cedi, and then 10 cedi. I just say jala wa, si bien elle, oh first beneba no, no mienne, I want to come 5 cedis, single ke 5 cedis, boss 80 Ghana. She be price low kra.
No buy no mono. Na box back to me 250, 40. Yeah, top papa. Na to see the area for me. Box back we 8 cedi. It is no 5 1 cedi. No po and co. Yeah, nto. To say first. Ni say to see bebre awo avasel nti omonta nche. Omon shankasa. Na ni o do protocol so pa no. Ono do omoto mi pa.
Reporting for Pan-African News, that
report was filed by my colleague Daniel Kwabena Atsari. Coming up next is international news. Let's do some international news. 2 more pro-democracy protesters were killed by the security forces in Sudan on Monday, February 14. Now, the North African country witnessed mass countrywide protests for the 18th time since the military coup on October 25, 2021.
The death toll of protesters resisting the coup has now risen to 81. The Central Committee of Sudanese Doctors said it documented 172 injuries on Monday, including 20 gunshot and 14 rubber bullet injuries. 31 others suffered head injuries as the security forces continued the illegal practice of firing tear gas canisters directly at the bodies of the protesters. At least 10 suffered suffocation due to the gas. Blunt trauma caused by direct impact of the canisters and suffocation from gas inhalation has been the main cause. 1,204 of the over 2,400 injuries since the coup, according to an analysis published earlier this month by the Omega Research Foundation. 5 other protesters were run over by vehicles of the security forces. One of them, who sustained a head injury, has suffered brain hemorrhage. The Central Committee of Sudanese Doctors added, most of the injuries were recorded in Khartoum state. In the country's capital city, Khartoum, rallies starting out from multiple neighborhoods were met with violence as they converged toward the presidential palace, the seat of army chief and coup leader Abdel Fattah al-Burhan. Protesters from neighboring Khartoum North crossed over to Omdurman and joined the protesters there to march to parliament. Processions marched peacefully towards the parliament building in Omdurman, writing an epic of steadfastness in front of the seat of the People's Authority, despite heavy repression by security and military coup agencies. As a result of live bullet firing there, the revolutionary Mantar Abdel Rahim martyred and many others were injured. A statement from the East Khartoum Neighborhood Resistance Committee's coordination said, a network of well over 5,200 resistance committees organized in neighborhoods across the country are leading the struggle against the military junta to achieve democratic civilian rule. Mass demonstrations, rallies and barricades were reported in at least 17 cities across several states, including in White Nile, Blue Nile, Jazeera, Al-Qadarif, Kassala, Sennar, North Kordofan, South Darfur, River Nile, and the Red Sea. In Sudan's northern states, protesters escalated the blockading of trucks carrying goods for trade with its northern neighbor Egypt, whose government is known to be supporting Sudan's military junta. The barricade in Al-Hafer was reconstructed on Monday. It was dismantled by security forces a day earlier, who let around 40 trucks of camels pass through Egypt after detaining the 19 protesters manning it. Mukhtar Bayram, member of the resistance committee in the state's capital, Dongola, told People's Dispatch. Other protesters, he added, surrounded the police station and ensured their release by night before reconstructing the barricades again on Monday morning. The barricade in Abri, east of Al-Hafer across River Nile, is holding strong. Residents from surrounding localities marched to the barricade in Sortud on Monday to pay respects to Atef Ali, a 38-year-old resistance committee member who was killed there on February 11th after being run over by an Egyptian truck that forced its way through the barricades. People in northern Sudan are hungry. We've been watching our cattle, food crops all being exported to Egypt, even as we starve, Bayram said, while explaining the reasons for disrupting trade between the two countries. The bulk of the exports are allegedly undertaken by businesses owned by the military, whose dominance across the economy has been pushing farmers and small producers out of the market. This situation, combined with anger against Egypt's perceived support to the coup generals, whose continuation in power is seen as a direct threat to food security, is driving the blockade action. So, we will keep building barricades all over these roads until we achieve a full civilian government, Bayram said. The map below shows the locations of 15 barricades that have been erected along the highway connecting to the border crossing between the two countries. In the meantime, the military junta, which is hurriedly reinstating members of the former dictator Omar al-Bashir's Islamist Nationalist Congress Party into state structures, has turned against members of the Empowerment Removal Committee. The ERC was established under the joint civilian-military government formed after Bashir's ouster in 2019, following the December Revolution that started in 2018. It was tasked with purging NCP members from state structures and confiscating their illegally acquired properties. After reinstating many hundreds of members suspended by the ERC and returning confiscated properties back to NCP leaders, the junta has begun a campaign to arrest members of the ERC. The deputy head of this committee, Mohammed Al-Faki Suleiman of the Unionist Alliance Party, was arrested along with another member, Maj Awad Karendis, on the evening of Sunday, February 13. These arrests came after 3 other ERC members, including its Secretary General, Tayeb Othman Youssef, were arrested on February 9th. Sudanese people confront a military with the elite generals holding a state captive. They command the technical means of violence and soldiers. On top of this, they built a commercial empire through coercion and plundering from which they derive a stream of wealth shared through clientelism and cronyism, Saleh Maimon wrote in the Labour Hub. In their diplomatic efforts to blunt the impetus of the democratic revolution, he said, they have the support of the US, UK and their allies, Saudi Arabia, UAE and Egypt, who are no friends of democracy. The US envoys have visited the generals and also talked to the civilian groups. International support is effectively also extended by the United Nations Integrated Transition Assistance Mission Sudan, whose calls for negotiations have been the hope of the generals to divide the civilian movement. However, the civilian movement continues to gain momentum under the leadership of the resistance committees. The resistance committees, Maimon added, are a new form of social power which enjoy greater social legitimacy than the military state apparatus. They have the potential to be self-governing and coordinating organs which can administer the state by meeting the needs of their neighborhoods under the impact of the economic crisis. They've shown the courage to turn away from old formulas and invent a new future.
Credit goes to our international partners. The People's Dispatch. Coming up is sports.
Hello, information. Me, I have still not got the money for that list of expensive building materials you sent to me. The price of the iron rods have been increased too much, had I?
Madam, relax. Look, that's not why I even called. I just visited IPCP, where the engineers told me everything about Trasacco Fast Floor.
Trawanko, please, those people are expensive. Are they not the people building those big houses in town? I beg, don't catch any.
Madam, in fact, I used to think the same until I visited their office today, and they gave me an estimate of how much it will cost. No, the estimate is real. It's cheaper than the one I even sent you.
Wow.
Building contractors, foremen, masons. Visit IPCP, the Trasacco Fast Floor. Engineers will assist you build an affordable, faster and stronger building.
Oh, madam. It is done.
Wow.
Trasacco Fast Floor. Stronger, faster and affordable.
This is a Trasacco construction product.
Trasacco Estates, home to Accra's most beautiful and luxurious homes, presents its newest addition, Trasacco Springs, a premium master planned community of service plots surrounded by an exhaustive list of amenities. The gated community of Tema to Accra Motorway presents you the finest opportunity to own a land that suits your preferred size, budget, and payment terms. Trasacco Springs is open to you for development. Our on-site sales executives are ready. Call on 055 659 2658.
The Socialist Movement of Ghana, SMG, invites all progressive and revolutionary forces to the observance of Ghana's Day of Shame on Thursday, February 24th, 2022. 56 years has passed since the Central Intelligence Agency, CIA of the USA, and its local collaborators launched a futile attack on the African Revolution. This Day of Shame will be marked with a public forum on the theme 56 years after the overthrow of Nkrumah, the state of the Ghanaian economy. The event will be chaired by Comrade Tretri Opoku, convener of the Socialist Movement of Ghana. The speakers will be Professor Jane Nana Opoku Ajiman, first female vice-chancellor of a public university in Ghana and vice presidential candidate of the NDC in the 2020 elections, and Comrade Kwesi Pratt Jr., General Secretary of the Socialist Movement of Ghana. The event starts at 5 p.m. prompt at the new headquarters of the Socialist Movement of Ghana, next door to the Noga Hill Hotel on the George Walker Bush Highway. Come and join the struggle to ensure that imperialism never succeeds. This event will be telecasted live on Pan-African television and streamed on our Facebook and YouTube pages.
It's incredible. Bang on target.
Hello? Okay, what's the matter? Why? My wife comes and send a message. You're for something on free. Hello? I didn't know.
African Center for Capacity Building, AFCAP, organizes the following executive and advanced certificate programs like Executive Certificate in Project Management, Executive Certificate in Human Resource Management, Executive Certificate in Real Estate and Property Management, Executive Certificate in Data and Records Keeping, Executive Certificate in Monitoring and Evaluation, Executive Certificate in Logistics and Transport Management, Executive Certificate in CCTV Monitoring and Installation. AFCAP, where capacity building is our priority. For registration and enquiries, please call 0244 405047, 0242135523. We have our branches in Accra, Tamale, Kumasi, and Wa. Saturdays and weekdays sessions are available. Admission is still in progress. Enroll now. Join the African professionals. AFCAP, where capacity building is our priority.
Hello? Okay, what's the matter? Why? My wife comes and send a message. You're for something on free. Hello? I didn't know. What's happened?
It's a chunk who's will be a quiet say what? I did
besides when a friend, I'm so young. No, I was not testing messages here. And now, officer, so I'm trying to tell you, she says, I
mean, so we a guy, Manu, and may young who could look cry. And also wants a family drilling company limited for Kana.
What's it then? Family Drilling Company Limited.
Ye two borehole, biofuel, biogas, swimming pool, plumbing works in Naso, ye be, Frey 0240 333-111 and that says 0244-144-822.
Miampa and you are swimming pool me see. Me want to will be here. Family drilling now. Family drilling. Me out that shit.
The Socialist Movement of Ghana, SMG, invites all progressive and revolutionary forces to the observance of Ghana's Day of Shame on Thursday, February 24th, 2022. 56 years has passed since the Central Intelligence Agency, CIA of the USA,
Thank you for choosing to stay with us. You're still watching Pan-African Television News. Now let's do sports. Ghana will earn 12 million if the Black Stars qualify for the 2022 FIFA World Cup in Qatar later this year. The West African country, having missed out in the last edition in Russia in 2018, the Black Stars are aiming to return to the Mundial for the 4th time.
With the winner advancing to the FIFA World Cup in Qatar. Meanwhile, all teams that reach the round of 16 stage will receive $12 million. Quarter-finalists will earn $18 million, while the team that finishes in third place will earn $30 million from FIFA. The runner-up in the 2022 FIFA World Cup will receive $40 million, and the winner will pocket a colossal $50 million. The FIFA World Cup will begin on November 8th, which were held in Germany, South Africa, and Brazil, respectively.
Entertainment news is next. On entertainment front, the Danjua Festival is set to come off this 24th February 2022 and have the auspices of the Naba Dazwa II, Chief of Pikura Traditional Council of the Upper East Region, and have a theme, Development of Bimbo Land. Now, Danjua is a symbolic occasion instituted to celebrate the victory of the Tuenri group of ancient Songhai Empire over the defeat of their enemies dating back to the 17th century, where their lives were secured by the Danjua. Now, Naba Dazu II has been speaking to my colleague George Johnson Vene ahead of the event.
Security in the northern part of the country has been under threat for some time now. And this has been a worry for leaders of the region as well as the country. The Bimobas, an ethnic group in the northeast part of the country, are dedicating this year's annual Danjua Festival, slated for February 26 at Pikpira in the Tampani district of the Upper East region, to advocate for the promotion of peace and security among the northerners, promote tourism to enhance development, and extend an invitation to Pan-African Television as partners of this year's event in helping preach peace.
I think my presence here in your studio is simple, just to extend a hand of invitation to you. I know Pan-African TV will definitely promote our culture. They will promote our way of life. And I think that, yes, mine is here to appeal to you. First of all, to invite you to be part of the Bimoba Danjua Festival on 26th February, just about 2 weeks. Second was to also enlighten you a bit about the Danjua Festival. So that is what brought me here. February is the first month in the Bimoba calendar.
Oh, okay.
So on the 25th, on the 26th, that will fall on the last Saturday of February. It's when we are going to actually do the Deba. But the sacrifice started, 3 days ago.
Okay.
So next week, I know very well that the youth are also organizing football galas.
Okay, yeah.
There are also some sort of jams and other things going on. So between now up to the 26th, there are always programs.
Okay.
We normally even have to organize beauty pageantry, except that this year, because of COVID, we want to limit, most of the activities. And then look at what is necessary that we have to do. And so I believe that this year the pageantry is not coming undue. But I believe that there are some other activities, outdoor activities that we have to do.
He further gives some enlightenment to the general public on the festival, stressing on its significance.
People, when you talk about Bimoba, you are just limiting it to those of us in Ghana. If I can give you a bit of history, the Bimoba people, we are in the group. When you are talking about the group, we are talking about the Frafras, the Gruisis, the Konkombes, the Basari, and other people. When the collapse of the Songhai Empire happened, the Bimoba moved somewhere to Fada in the Burkina Faso area. Then that is where we went and group again. And then at a point, there was an invasion. And so when the invasion happened, it led to some sort of scattering again. And so those of us who scatter towards Niger, Benin, and Central African Republic, we call them Gurmache. Those who remain in Burkina Faso, we call them the Gurma. Then those of us who move southwest, then they now refer to us as Moba. Then those of us who moved to Ghana, then they said we were British Moba.
No.
So instead of the British Moba, they just shorten it and say B Mobas.
No.
But whether you are Grumache, you are Grumache, you are Gruma itself, you are Moba, it is the same thing as B Moba.
No.
So we in Ghana here, we were called British Moba because of the partition of Africa. You would agree with me that because of this white man and their activities, it actually created problem for us.
Yeah. No.
They made us lose our identity.
Exactly.
So some of us Burkina, some of us Niger, some of us Central African Republic, some of us in Ghana. So that's the difference. But we are all Gruma. We are all Gruma family.
No.
So it depends on where you find yourself. So all of these people are the ones that come together and then we celebrate the festival.
No.
Significantly, it's just about we're ending harvest. And we want to thank the oracles for the harvest. Then we also ask the oracles to make sure that at least they will help us to get another good rain, to get a fertile coming season.
Okay.
That is just significant about the festival. Nakpanduri's cap is there. Danjua Mountain is there. We also have an African map around the Bunkuru area where you can go and see it lying there. It is in the form of a rock, and it's natural.
Wow.
Very natural. It is not carved, and it is lying there. So we believe that, yes, what we want you people to do is that, yes, you people should come look at all of these things and see what you can do in order to use your medium to sell it out. After all, Pan-African TV is traditional.
Thank you.
And I believe that, yes, you support with the traditional leaders so that we can develop our area.
George Yosen Vene for Pan-African Television.
Still in the world of entertainment, widely celebrated as the month of love, a lot of people across the world show affection towards their families and friends in the month of February. Now, Pan-African Entertainment News Desk took to the street of Accra to ask Ghanaians on their first ever relationship experiences, and these were responses.
It was nice. It was like after I saw him, I feel like he's the one. Everything about him was nice, and I said, oh, and I like him. The way he is, he's caring, he's nice, and everything about him is nice to me. And I feel like he's the one I'm supposed to spend the rest of my life with. Come again, yeah, like my soulmate, yeah, yes, yeah. And we've been dating for 2 years now. Oh, yeah.
Okay. The first video, that time on me, you and the village now, you see about, you see about that. And I will go, my edition. There's about, you know, you and what's saying, you are, and you sooner. The 2 for, you see, I'm not from there. And not from what I'm not from the because you see, man, come on, oh, yeah, I'm the poor back here. I'm the poor head back from out and the man. Yeah, I said that I'm the side. I'm going to the house.
Interesting experiences right there. That's it for this afternoon's Pan-African Television News with me, Ivy Abnaludi Nakite. Big thanks to you for spending time with us. Do join us on all social media platforms on Facebook, Instagram, and on Twitter at Pan-African Television. Do enjoy the